What's up, guys? Here's your man Ace, back with it. I told you guys it was gonna come down to this. It's the middle, kind of mid-September right now. I told you guys I was gonna come out with a pod. Here's the pod. Actually, this is what I want y'all guys to do. This right here. It's a great help. This is the Kaizen Challenge. If you don't know about it, read about it. Basically, what it is that you set your goals 20 weeks out, and you do it. All right, you gotta stick to it, and you do it. All right, don't alleviate from it, and you got it. All right. So this is one of the best and first episodes that we're gonna do. All right. This is called Sacrificing and Compromising. There's a lot that's gonna go into it. Actually, you're gonna ask yourself this: what is the difference between sacrifice and compromising? Well, that's what I'm here for. All right. So I wrote down notes. I compiled notes. I did my research. Just a little bit about me. My name is Ace. Everybody calls me Ace. For some type of reason, I'm the first one, baby. I don't know what it is. I'm from Maryland, Army. I know I don't look like it, but hey, it is what it is. Anime lover, of course. Gotta go with it. I know about Marvel, DC, relationships, therapy sessions. I'm in it. All right. Today is going to be solely on what I said: sacrificing and compromising. All right. So basically, you want to ask yourself, what is it? What is sacrificing itself? Like, what do you do? Like, is it as far as going as how Jesus did? He sacrificed his body, his soul, his mind, and his spiritual plane being for our sins, right? Or you can go as small as you're doing something for, like, I don't know, maybe you're saying, hey, well, maybe I'm gonna sacrifice this a little bit of time. It's like 5 minutes, just do something, right? What is it? And compromising itself, what is that, right? So basically, the definition between sacrificing is giving up something valuable, meaningful, actually, or important to you, such as time, comfort, even dreams, needs, and desires, right? So for, like, just the sake of somebody, or a cause, or just a higher goal, in a sense. Compromising in itself is basically finding the middle ground between two people or sides, whether it be giving up something, but is also both are gaining or something, right? So it's a balance in between and not completely a loss. I guess, like, for a little example, just a little smidge of example, saying that if you're married, and of course, we love to play our video games. Obviously, you can see my PS5. All right, I love to play video games. All right, and I'll probably be on it probably 5 days a week, 4 hours. But if I was in a relationship and they said that my significant other said, you don't spend time with me, all right, cool, I'll compromise with you. All right, how about Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, we do something together, right? Mondays, Fridays, I'm on a game with my boys. I can spend time with them. Saturdays is going to be us going out, having fun, spending the whole day together. And then Sundays is going to be a relaxing thing, right? That's compromising, all right? So I got some notes down here. It's that was a definition. I'm gonna say here's the nature of it, right? This is the nature of the action, basically. So sacrificing is usually a one-sided thing, definitely a one-sided thing. And one person bears the cost of something or some other, like in a relationship or big goals, benefits, right? Like, for example, my parents out there, yes, I'm actually a parent too. I have a daughter. Um, it's a parent would work like long shifts and would never buy things for themselves so their children can go to school, have things that they necessarily didn't have when they was kids. I'm a big I'm a big time on this. I want my daughter to have, and even more of my future kids to have something that I never had. A life that I never had or never experienced, right? So those are the sacrifices that I'll do. I'll work 12 hours, 16 hours a day just to try to get that money in to bring something to the table so she or my children or my family in itself to enjoy life, right? Excuse me. So the other thing on the other side of that, the nature of compromising, all right? You have usually it's a mutual thing, right? So both people are adjusted. They, they blend together. They do a change in expressions, all this, right? So with that, I believe that compromising in itself, make sure you know the difference, especially in a relationship. You gotta make sure you know the difference in a relationship from sacrificing and compromising. Sacrificing doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing, but if you feel as though that your partner is making more of a sacrifice, or you yourself is making more of a sacrifice, speak up, all right? I'm a big advocate of closed mouths don't get fed, basically, right? So if you don't say anything, you're not gonna get anything. Think, right? So for example, with that, like a couple can choose a vacation spot, neither one prefers 100%, but they both are okay with, right? So it's not like like a sacrifice, a one-sided thing. This is a thing that, okay, well, we can't go to Puerto Rico or we can't go to Jamaica. Let's go in the middle ground, right? Let's go to Hawaii, or let's go to California where something else is beautiful, right? These are the compromising that you would do in a relationship. All right. So again, now we're on number 3. The emotional impact, especially with sacrificing. All right, so this is something, it's not a gray area, but it is a thin line, only because it is emotional. All right, you are a human being. We're all emotional, men, women, children, animals, everything. We're all emotional. All right, we act on these emotions. So the sacrifice for the emotional aspect or impact, that it can feel noble or selfless. It's if it's a will of choice, right? So basically, you can feel, oh yeah, I sacrifice my time just to make you happy. It also can be selfish, where it says, oh, I don't want to do that because of these certain things, right? So, but it also can be considered, it can be constant, or it can be one-sided, all right? It can create resentment. It can be exhausting, and you can lose your identity. This is very critical, especially in a relationship. I don't think that you should be losing your identity. This is where it goes into changing, right? I had relationships where it was, I changed and I kind of like molded bad in it, in a sense. And I didn't like that type of person, so I had to reel myself back in. Only because you gotta understand that I was making that sacrifice. I was sacrificing myself and my spiritual, my mental, my physical being, because I was quote unquote in love, right? right? So it's often required a deeper emotional strength because it's your feeling letting go. All right. So when I say you're feeling letting go, it's like it's you yourself letting it go. Right. Um, this is the one advice I can give you is that if you are in a relationship and if you are like, say for instance, you are losing your identity, you can take a break. Taking a break in a relationship is not always bad. It's not. You do have to set of rules. The set of rules are or can be that hey, yes, we are still together, but we are taking time apart. All right. This means that you have to be loyal, trustworthy, and you have to stick to your word. Right? You got to stick to your word. Men and women love loyalty. Everybody loves consistency. Now everybody has trust. All right. So these are the things that you need to gain and you need to hold in a relationship. Okay. On the other side of it, compromising. All right. I love that. I love compromising. Um, it feels fairly because both sides are sharing the burden. Yes, it is shared it can be shared equally, or it can be a 55, 45, 40, 60, but it's never going over too much, right? So with that compromising is that yeah, we both lost something, we both gained something. It can be either or. All right. Often it strengthens relationships since it is a requirement in a corporate of in cultivating and um in respect. All right. I think personally that if you are going through something in a relationship, sit down and compromise. Don't see it as one sided. Then you're being selfish. Now we're being a sacrificial person. Okay. Uh, if it's done poorly, compromising. If it's done poorly, though one side may still feel that they're giving up more. Don't feel like, don't have that ego where you are feeling like, oh, I'm big and bad. I did this. You did this. We should do this. No, 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 no. All right. Having a big ego and all that other stuff in a relationship, no. All right. Sometimes, like, just like my dad said when I was younger, he said, hey, sometimes you got to bite the bullet. All right. I've bit the bullet a lot of times, a lot. All right. It's sometimes that I wanted to speak out and I didn't. I know how my mouth is, and I know how some people's mouths are. You have to take a step back and think about what you're saying. And then you have to on the other side, on the other side of that, your partner themselves need to understand. Oh, they're taking a step back. They're thinking about it. Let them not retaliate, but let them do a rebuttal. Okay, and hear them out. Listen. Okay, listening is a very critical thing too. All right. So, all right, on to number four. All right, the short term and long term. This is kind of cool. All right, but it's in a sense. All right, so think about this, right? So sacrificing often links to a long time vision, big time values, or in the ultimate love, i.e., right, moving to another city for another person's career. This is a really big thing, especially on a military standpoint. Again, I told you that I am in the military. I'm still in 13 more years, 13 years completed next year. My brother is actually in the military. He just got in the military this year as well, and he had to move. I guarantee you, a lot of people have went through this already. All right, especially if you're married, you gotta make that move, and those are the sacrifices that even the man and the woman does. All right, they're moving away from their family. They're moving away from their friends. They gotta make this, and it's harder on the person that's outside of that career field to make new friends. They might not be that friendly. They may not be very social. They may be antisocial. They may be an introvert. You know what I mean? So it's a sense into how things are. Okay, you have to understand that that is a sacrifice. They're sacrificing. It's an identity thing. All right, because I believe my friends are my identity as well, even though they look crazy. But they, I would, yeah, hey, if I got to move away from them, cool. But my ex-wife, um, she did that. She moved away from her town to live with me. She didn't have friends. I tried to make her friends, and that was a sacrifice. I know now, well, I knew that I had to make it right. So I became that friend. I became that best friend. I compromise in my mind, right? So, and also in this too, is that it may have lasting consequences, good or bad, because sometimes was feeling we're gonna feel lost. All right, we're gonna feel lost. Um, the good and the bad, it varies. That varies on the situation of the relationship and what y'all talk about and what it is about it. All right, it's variables to the sacrifice. All right, but compromise in itself um, often uses day by day disagreements, negotiations, or decisions. Okay, so that little bickering that you guys do, the little fights and stuff like that, those are, well, I want to go here. No, I want to do this. I want to do that. Those are, the little bickering things. These things are going to make your relationship stronger. All right. It may seem bad, but it's not. Okay. Um, the the negotiation, don't manipulate or gaslight your partner. That is one thing that is a no-go for any relationship. And if you are feeling like you're gaslighted or manipulated in a relationship, one, seek help. Seek help. You can get to a consultant, anything like that. But also make sure that you yourself, make sure that you understand that your person in a relationship, sorry, my dog, but you in a relationship as a person can't make sure you sacrifice big stuff, you know? So, um, it's more about managing, compromising again. It's more about managing the differences rather than giving up your identity. All right. So don't necessarily, of course, you stand 10 toes down on your identity, but you also don't compromise that identity. So, for example, right, if you feel as though that you're changing for the worse, not for the better, because the better is good. If you change it for the worse in the relationship, that it means that is the big difference. I don't want you to lose yourself and you look in the mirror one day and you don't recognize yourself. All right. I absolutely love it when I see couples that, like, oh, either they finish each other's sentences or their moldings, like they know what each other wants, and it's awesome. And it's been like that in relationships too. Those are good relationships. Those are very good relationships, especially when you reach a point in time in your relationship that you know what each other is thinking. The other person said it like, yo, I was just thinking that. Oh my gosh, like that's crazy. Like you must be a mind reader. And I have experienced that. I can tell you that right now. I can experience that. It is awesome. It's an awesome feeling, and it's a great thing to have in a relationship. Okay. So I know I've been talking about relationships and stuff like that, but here's number 5. Number 5 is relationships, right? So sacrificing, healthy, healthy all occasionally, and it roots in love. All right, so i.e., staying home to care for a sick partner. All right, that right there, it goes into not just marriage, not just marriage, but it goes into a lot of stuff where your girlfriend or your boyfriend is sick and you're staying home to help them out. That is sacrificing, all right, because one, that's also sacrificing your health because you can catch a cold or whatever, just like anybody else. You can get sick. It's gonna take time out to where it goes out your way. So say for instance, it's been times where I worked 12-hour shifts and I had to stop and go to CVS to pick up medicine or wait in a long line. I already been at work for 12 hours. Mind you, I'm already stuck in traffic, but these are the sacrifices that we make for our partner. All right, this is the foot forward that we put in. Okay, these are the good things. Again, I told you, sacrifice is not always bad. It's not. Sometimes you gotta do. Sometimes you do have to sacrifice for things that you care about. All right, unhealthy. Unhealthy. If one person always sacrifices while the other never does, that leads to being an unbalance. You don't want unbalancy in a relationship. This is you just don't. You don't want imbalances in a relationship because the other person is gonna get depressed, sad, mad, angry all the time, always fighting, always want to fight, and just they feel as though that they got to be loyal and they got to stay, and then that's not the case. Again, if you don't like what you're in, get out. Okay, if you say, "Oh, I'm too old to do this," or "I'm too," no, no, no. Time is just an illusion, but it is also relevant. Therefore, if you can, I can guarantee you, okay? Heed my words. Don't go out here thinking that time you have to do everything is a timestamp. Oh, I gotta do this by 21. I gotta do this by 23, this by 25. I gotta have kids before I'm 30. I gotta get married before I'm 35. I gotta meet the right one at this age. Stop it. Stop. Right now, at that point in time, here's my spiritual way. Spiritual time, hello. Let it be. Destiny will come. Okay? I'm a big advocate of God and Jesus. And I can tell you right now, he has helped me through a lot of stuff, and he will paint that road for you. All right, you just gotta listen. So, again, it's an imbalance thing. Compromising is healthy and necessary for a long-term relationship. I agree with that. I wrote that down. It definitely is. You want to know why? Because you're gonna keep doing it. It's just good. Compromising is good. It's just all around good. You just gotta work your way with it. All right. It builds teamwork, it builds equality, and it builds respect. You gotta have respect in a relationship. Hands down. Hands down. If you don't respect your partner, get out. Why are you there? Why are we being toxic? I'm a toxic person. I'm a very toxic person. But you have to understand I will always respect my partner. Always. No is no, yes is yes. Period. Right. If I do have a disagreement on that, I will voice that. I'm getting used to now voicing my voice. All right. It also works best when both voices are heard and valued. Dang. Sounds pretty good, don't it? I know. I wrote it. Just saying, okay? Both parties have to listen to themselves. Both parties have to listen to each other. You have to value that voice, and you also have to, you gotta value that voice, and you gotta value what you're being heard, okay? Listening in itself is listening going in the ear, into the brain, processing through the brain, figuring it out, and figuring out what you have to say. Don't just listen and let it go out. Okay? For example, if my girl is talking to me, I will try to cut off stuff and be like, what did you say? So I can actually hear you and make it out. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Now I know what you want, or what you want me to do, or because I don't want to be that person or that man to be like, you told me and I forgot. I didn't want to forget, because now you're getting irritated because I forgot. Then you gotta repeat yourself. Nobody wants to repeat themselves. Trust me, I know. All right. So this is gonna be the last little niche on it, but the metaphor, basically, right? Sacrifice is like giving your whole slice of a cake to someone. Dang, you was hungry, but you gave it away, the whole thing, right? One-sided. Guess who's not eating? You. Compromising, right? Compromise is like cutting the cake in half so both gets a share, even if neither gets as much as they would like. That is something very critical. Very, very critical. If you guys are both hungry, split the cake up. At least somebody's getting something. It's like split. I can tell you right now, it works. It works. Those little things they remember. Hell, I remember. I'm a big advocate in compromising. All right, I do sacrifice. I do, but compromising in itself is a very, very critical thing. All right, so I'm also gonna finish this off with this little thing, well, this whole little segment right here, with this summary, right? Sacrifice is basically selfless giving. Something noble, sometimes noble, sometimes costly. Compromising in self is a mutual agreement, often healthier for balance. So, heed my words. I'm only here to help. If you want to, you can comment down and below. I would love to hear your thoughts. But I believe that a lot of people need to start compromising in a relationship and stop sacrificing. For the bad. For the bad. All right. I'm going to wrap this up. Again, I'm Ace. This is going to be Ace Productions or Ace Incorporated. I don't know yet. Still, this is the first episode, so this is what we're going to be doing, right? Talk things out. Love yourself. Take care of yourself. Exercise. And of course, be great.